Hi, everybody. This is Erica from In the Company of Cards back again with a few things I thought we could look at. I use Lenormand or Lenormand or Lenormand to look at the issues of the day. Um, if you're interested in these particular cards, there's a link right under the video where you can find the cards. If you'd like to take a course in your own time on your own schedule. I've put one up, so you can click the link for that as well. And if you want to just teach yourself using my book, it's called The Language of Lenormand. And um, this is what it looks like. It's available everywhere. And if you want to teach yourself French at the same time, you could get the French version, you know? So, okay. Delighted that you're here. I've read all the comments. Thank you so much. I love the engagement here. You all are an intelligent, compassionate, smart bunch. I'm delighted to have you here. So, as usual, no rhyme or reason to the questions that I'm going to look at. All but one of them are viewer questions. So there's no order to my looking at them, but they are most of them viewer questions. I have one that is not, but it's one that should certainly be at this point top of mind. But I'll save that for later on. Okay, the first question. So I have a little button by the video where if you'd like to leave me a little tip, you can. So somebody left me a little tip and then asked me a trivia question. I mean, like they really thought that I wasn't gonna know the answer to this. Anyway, the question was, uh, what's Juneteenth all about? Juneteenth is a holiday that stems from uh, the Civil War era on in Galveston, Texas. That's what they wanted to know if I knew where it originated. Galveston, the enslaved population of Galveston, Texas, were the very last ones to hear about emancipation. Now, mind you, the war had already been over for a while, for several months, but I guess nobody was trying to tell their slaves, you're free. So they didn't until the Union Army came through. And so Galveston, Texas is the origin of Juneteenth, and it's just celebrating emancipation. We call it Freedom Day, some of us. For me, it was the day 7 years ago that I retired from teaching. I purposely picked Juneteenth as the day that I would say it's going to be my last one. And so it's a very important holiday for all of us who are Black, and for me for particular reasons. Okay, so anyway, thank you for the little tip. Galveston, Texas was where the last enslaved people heard that they had been emancipated and that the war was over. Okay. Um, Another viewer question was whether or not the blue states were going to secede from the Union. Speaking of Civil War, so I guess there is like a little bit of a theme with those two questions, right? The one that I just answered about Juneteenth, and now the modern day maelstrom that we find ourselves engaged in, this sort of soft Civil War, cold Civil War that we're already engaged in. But the viewer question was whether or not the blue states would secede from the Union. So let's see. I'll tell you what, if the blue states were to secede from the Union, the ones who would really suffer would be, uh, just as with the war, would be the red states. I mean, California alone could take care of itself. So just saying. All right. Anyway, I think I'm going to have, oh, you know what we'll do? We'll use the scythe, and the scythe will stand for a split. um, of the blue states from the country. Okay, so we'll look for the site. Okay. Okay, let's see. Where is this site? And what will it tell us about the blue states' intentions? Boy, is it deep in the deck. I know it's not the last card because I always check the bottom, as you know. But anyway, this stands for a split between the blue states and the red states in terms of secession. Are the blue states going to secede? They are not going to secede. And what is this thing we say? A house divided cannot stand. So we have the lily, we have the actual house. This stands for secession. We have the bear, and we have the key. So the reason that I'm going to say that there will be no secession is because the lily is the card for peace, for amity, for cooler heads prevailing. And I can mirror it with the key, and we love the key. So there will be peace among us in the fullness of time, as my mother would say, right? Now, we have the second card, which is the house. I can mirror it with the bear. But I'm going to say that if this stands for the uh, the country, uh, I think that the country and the Constitution are bigger than any temporary, getting ready to be 80 years old in another year, narcissistic uh, inhabitant of the White House. So I think this wins out. I think we will see reason. I think we will come together. I do not think there will be secession. That's not to say that we don't have a hard row to hoe ahead of us, as we do, but I don't think there will be a secession. I think with that bear as well, it could be like some of you will know this expression, a lot of you won't, a wolf ticket. In other words, the blue states can threaten secession. That can also be the bear. Like, is this really what you want for us to secede? Because Arkansas, Kentucky, how are y'all going to handle that when you don't have California's dollars, New York's dollars, Massachusetts dollars to prop you up? Are you sure that's what you want to do? So, yeah, there will be no secession. Okay. Uh, oh, I did want to make a comment. So, you know how I have said, Black people stay home. You know that this is a movement and a stance. If you pay any attention to Black Instagram, for example, um, we talk about being in our soft era, where we are not putting our bodies and ourselves out on the front line because we've done that many, many times while people stood back and watched, and now we're letting the choir take over. Well, and I've told you that it's just not about being lazy or unsympathetic or unempathetic or uncaring uh, at all. That part of it is because we're tired, but the other part is purely strategic. When our bodies are out there, our bodies are the ones that get the brunt of things. And I just wanted to call your attention to something linguistic, meaning language related, to bear out my point, which is 47 was asked about the protests on Saturday, and he just fell all over himself trying to explain it away. And what he called the protesters was not scum, not vermin, not criminal, which is what he would have called us if we were on the front lines. No, you know what he called all the protesters? He said they're confused. And why is he calling them confused instead of calling them scum or vermin or criminal? Because they're white. Just saying. So, there is a method to our madness. Um, for him to have to turn his goons on people who look like him, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. And he's choosing to say that they're confused. I know you saw the marching in his birthday parade. That was not marching. That was just like strolling. In fact, some of them had their hands behind their back. I don't think I've ever seen that. Soldiers walking with their hands behind their back, like in a parade or something. I've never seen that before. I mean, that is like the ultimate at ease position, right? So I think that that was the Army's, or the people in the Army's message to him. Like, we're here because we have to be here, but we don't want to be here. So I told you that, well, I mean, you saw, but I told you in advance that 47 was not going to feel well. He was not going to be happy at the parade, that people were going to be raked over the coals because of how poorly it was attended, and how unimpressive it was. Hegseth looked like he was in the principal's office. I don't think that Hegseth will be fired over this, though. I think he'll hang around for a little bit longer. There may be other people whose heads rolled, but not Hegseth yet. I just want to look at Hegseth for a second. We'll use the younger man for Hegseth, just because I want to. Let's see what his future is. This was not on the list of questions, but it occurs to me because he really is looking miserable. Everybody at that thing looked miserable, except for Melania, who was counting how much money she will have earned by showing up in the first place. Um, so we're going to look for the younger man. We're going to call that Hegseth, and I'm going to have him be the younger man because he's just intemperate, um, undisciplined, uh, quite the showboat, and he doesn't know what he's doing. So this will stand for Hegseth. What's going on with him? Okay, we have the mountain, we have the house, we have Hegseth, the cross, and the heart. Okay, so let me put him down and then I'll pick him back up. Uh, so uh, for the time being, he's not going anywhere. This is just a delay because I do think in the end he will leave. He will either leave of his own accord or he'll be dismissed. Uh, this, of course, is the White House. He's caused the White House no end of angst and pain because he doesn't know what he's doing. Um, and at the end, we have this heart here. He loves being able to say he's the Secretary of Defense and to wield his power. Um, but I also think that there are those in the Army who will do what they can to subvert him and block him so that his worst instincts will not be entertained. That's what I think. But, with this cross here, he's a problem. Okay, but he's not leaving yet. Okay. Uh, okay, so we did Juneteenth, we did Blue State Secession. Okay. Uh, I'm trying to decide what order I want to do the last ones in. There's just a couple. Okay. Let's look at war with Iran. This was not a viewer question, but I mean, how could you not be interested in this, right? So 47 left the G7 uh, last night. early, which we knew he was going to leave early because he got cold-shouldered. He left saying that he had to go deal with the Iran-Israel thing. Okay. So quick primer for those of you who don't know, but I mean, this is quick. Iran has nuclear weapons. Iran has made all kinds of lip service promises to not have nuclear weapons, but they have nuclear weapons. And I mean, big ones that are not for the reasons that they say that they would develop nuclear power. They said that they would develop nuclear power for the good of their people. So, the same reasons that we use any kind of power, like electricity or gas or whatever. That's what they said they were developing. Well, come to find out, that's not exactly true. And they have powerful nuclear weapons that are buried deep underground. That's where they're siloed, where they're kept. And we already know, because I mentioned it the other day, that Netanyahu had invited 47 to participate in an unaliving of the supreme leader of Iran. And at that point, 47 said no, thank you. But, he comes back from the G7 and he's feeling some type of way, feeling disempowered, disrespected. Um, all of the dis words and dissed. And so he needs a fix. And so this could be his fix. What do I mean by that? Well, when your country doesn't like you, an easy fix is to declare a war or create some kind of national emergency that would call for people to say, oh, well, we can't get rid of him now because, he's the head of the government and he's in the middle of this and, he knows what's going on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Israel would like the United States to assist in taking out this nuclear capability of Iran. By the way, let me just say, Iran is Persia, what used to be called Persia, and it's not considered one of the Arabic countries, right? Not like the way Saudi Arabia is, or some of the other areas around there. Saudi Arabia doesn't care for Iran, as a matter of fact. So Iran is kind of, on its own. 47 so Netanyahu has asked 47 to help um, get those weapons out. So 47 has been tweeting or whatever you call it, truth socialing, whatever his thing is, saying, so, we know where the supreme leader is, and for now he's safe, but, you never know. That could change at any time. He won't be killed, but he could be killed. I mean, that's what he said. So again, wolf tickets. He has said that he's not interested in a truce or a peace treaty between Israel and Iran. Iran, yeah. That what he would like is for Iran to unconditionally surrender, which makes me think of The Wizard of Oz. Remember when the witch wrote, "Surrender, Dorothy"? That's what he wants, unconditional surrender. He's also using the pronoun we, and that's always telling, the pronouns people use. Sometimes he's using it as the royal we meaning, me, myself, and I, Trump, but sometimes he means himself and somebody else. In this case, when he says we, he's talking about Israel and the United States. So he seems to have thrown his lot in with Netanyahu. The problem with that is that he has effectively now created a huge schism split in MAGA world because half of MAGA world is hawkish and pro-Israel. Like, for example, I think Lindsey Graham is on that team. saying, yeah, go in there and get those weapons out. But the other half, which would be people like Bannon, for example, are saying, no. I mean, what happened to your isolationist stance? What happened to this thing of you were gonna end the forever wars? Like we voted for you for that reason. So once again, in this new other arena, 47 finds himself between a rock and a hard place. I suspect the way that he will come out is to say to himself, hmm, what can I do to distract people? What can I do to stay in power? How can I make myself indispensable? Declare a war in which US troops would fight. What the heck? I'll even do a draft. How about that? So I guess the question is, what will happen with this situation with Iran? Will we do uh, Israel's bidding the same way that apparently we seem to do Russia's bidding and be the big brother who steps to the Iranian bully and says, now you have to deal with us? Uh, and I mean, is this Israel's response to everything? Everything is preemptive. You're gonna what? You're gonna attack everybody because everybody is a potential threat to you. I mean, I don't know. Sounds like a not the best strategy in the world. Uh, any more than genocide is against the Palestinians. Just saying. So, what's going to happen with this situation? Uh, what will now again? 47 cannot put us into a war without Congress agreeing. And just as MAGA is split, the Congress, of course, is going to be split. There's a bill that has been proposed by a Republican, I forget his name, but it's going to be signed on to by Democrats as well, including AOC, saying, no, we're not trying to go to war with Iran. So he will have, 47 would be hard pressed. But is that what he wants? Does he want us to enter this war alongside Israel against Iran? So let's just let Spirit pick all the cards. Will Trump get us into a war with Iran in defense of Israel? Um, so we have Clover, woman, bear, anchor, and child. Uh, Clover is such a hasty card. And 47 does tend to act off the cuff, listen to whoever the last person is in his ear. He's impetuous that way. He's mad about the parade. He's mad about the G7. He's mad about a lot of things. He's mad about the, no kings protest, etc. So he may act in a hasty, impetuous, and immature way. But I think that his hand will be stayed. I don't think he will be allowed to do this, even though he wants to. I don't think he'll be allowed to. I don't think Congress will permit this. Yeah, because the Republicans are so split on this issue. So you've got us, all the Democrats and independents who are not going to want war. Uh, and then you put that together with the Republicans who don't want it. And I think he will not be able to enter us into a war with Iran. He's, again, he's selling wolf tickets, he's selling threats. We know where that supreme leader is, and we can take him out anytime. So blah blah blah. But I don't think he will be able to engage us in a war over there. Okay. Um, Somebody asked me to look at, well, before I say that, I got an email from a viewer. This was really um, very interesting. Uh, I want to find it if I can. Hmm. No, I could have sworn I kept it. Um, Hold on. Sorry. Uh, she asked me, yeah, here it is. Got it. So I had done a reading on the assassinations in Minnesota. And in the spread, I don't remember the cards. I mean, but we had the stork and the young woman in the line, and the viewer said, could that stork have pointed to the assassin's links to the anti-abortion movement and help he may have received for them from them? And I thought that was a very good reading of the stork. So I love that you all are playing along with me as I read the cards, and also trusting your intuition enough to come up with conclusions that either concur with what I see, or a lot of times will see deeper than I see, or see things that I didn't notice. So that was a very, very good catch on the part of that viewer. So thank you. Let me give them a shout out because why not? Joanne Wheeler. Good catch. Very good catch. Okay. Um, Somebody asked me to look at 47's health, and I think I will do that, but not today. I have already said, as have many of my colleagues, that he is not well on a lot of different levels, that he's also in danger of a couple of more attempts during the course of the summer, if you know what I mean. Um, he's not well. I don't see him in his seat in the fall, but I will do a deep dive into his health another time. Uh, just know that we are all readers seem to be of one accord on this, that his health is in serious decline, both mental and physical. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. One thing that a viewer, this is the final question, a viewer asked, and I thought this was interesting to look at. Although the way that they asked, they were kind of mad, like, how come you haven't talked about this? Well, I did talk about it. It has yet to transpire. So, as my mother would say, in the fullness of time, we will know. But I will look at it one more time just for you. And what is that? What are the revelations going to be about from Anonymous? Now, remember, whatever bomb they're going to drop is meant to be dropped between the 1st and the 4th, apparently, of July. So it's coming soon. And, I don't know whether it will be related to Epstein files or other uh, other um, evil doing on the part of 47, but maybe we can get a hint from the cards. I'm not sure that we'll be able to, but maybe we'll get a sense of the magnitude of it, for example. Um, would read on the New York City comptroller. Comptroller is someone who is essentially in charge of the finances of the city. COMPT, troller, comptroller. Anyway, the comptroller of New York City was manhandled by masked ICE agents and handcuffed and I guess arrested because he was at an immigration um, office, And there was someone there for a hearing, like they're supposed to do periodically, report for a hearing. And this guy reported for his hearing, and the ICE agents were outside of the courtroom waiting to snag him. And the comptroller was there and got between the immigrant and the ICE agents, and that's when they assaulted him. They did not have a warrant that they were able to show the comptroller. And he said, "Show me a warrant, and then I'll back up." But they wouldn't show him a warrant. So, what's there to read about is the question. This is the way of things. We are meant to get used to this. We should never get used to this. This is part of what that No Kings protest was all about. So I am aware of that New York official being treated the same way that our citizen here, senior citizen, senior, I'm a senior citizen, that senior senator from my state, California, was treated. So this is their modus operandi. So there really isn't anything to read on that particularly. But anyway, let's look and see, what does Anonymous have to tell us? Now, I think I'm going to use Clover, because Clover is a card for a surprise. So what surprise will will Anonymous give us in the beginning of July, the one that they teased a couple of weeks back? Okay. What information will Anonymous um, divulge? Is it about Epstein? Is it about voting irregularities? We don't know. Let's see what it's about. So we're looking for Clover because that will be a surprise. Okay. So this will stand for the surprise, the announcement that Anonymous will make in the first week of July. Right. So to start off, this is not auspicious. We have the snake, the mountain, clover, which stands for the surprise that they're going to cover, the tree, and the key. Okay, a snake is a problem. This is going to be a big problem that they will divulge. 447, and you'll see why in a minute. Um, it's been delayed, delay, delay, delay. I mean, why would you? This is what Anonymous does, right? They throw out like a tease and then let the suspense build and have us speculate. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that? It creates buzz. So that's why they didn't just come out and say what they had to say, 3 weeks ago when they said they had something. Um, this is the surprise. Now, I think it will be, you know, I'm holding this tree in my hand, and the image that I have in my mind is of a tree being shaken, and all of the fruit or all of the pine cones or all of the whatever falling all over the place. This will rock 47, I think, to his core. And then here's the key. And look, the key I can mirror with the snake. And this news has been a long time coming. These are both cards that are in timing indicate slowness. So the case has been built up for a while. Now, a long time can be, you know, from November or from, I don't know, the 1980s when Trump was doing his, going into girls' dressing rooms and things. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's been in the making for a while, in the development stages, as they say. Okay, so here's the snake. What are the clarifiers? Well, we have the birds, we have the narcissist in chief, and we have the cross. So this is going to be huge, 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 huge problem for him, especially mirrored as it is by the key in the original line. But with these clarifiers, it is going to create buzz, talk, chatter about how bad he is, and it will really be damaging. That's what I think. Well, that's what the cards say. Now, we've had this delay, which is implied by the mountain, right? Like, why didn't they just say whatever it is? We've had this delay because, as my mother and the Bible would say, they're trying to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove, meaning, um, let people keep guessing. Uh, butter would not melt in this guy's mouth. Let's build the suspense because then, ta-da, there will be this reveal that will have legal ramifications for 47. I mean, he's already a 34 times felon, but at any rate, there will be legal ramifications for this. Okay, here we have the surprise, the announcement. Clarifiers are the mice, the scythe, and the lily. Okay, so this is whatever the big reveal is, and it's going to create just, you know, these are mice, but think of chickens with their heads cut off. Real worry, anxiety, stress in the White House. Um, they're going to be really, I mean, it's going to blow the lid off of things, and it will cut, sever, eliminate whatever peace of mind they have about how they're doing and how things are going with this guy at the helm. Okay, so then we go to the tree, and the clarifiers are fish, book, and house. I think that this has to, I don't see the card for votes, but I also don't see the card for sexual impropriety. I think this is, so if I had to pick one over the other in terms of what the revelation will have to do with, I'm going to say it's voting related, election related. Um, Fish is about money. So there is money that has changed hands. Uh, and I feel like it's related to what we don't know about how he got in the White House. Well, who has money? Mr. You know who I'm talking about? Mm, the rich one, the one that's not friends with anybody anymore. You know what I mean? I think this will be some disclosure about how that person helped 47 uh, get his chair behind the Resolute desk. Final card is the key in the original line. Clarifiers are the whip, the anchor, and the clouds. It is good. I mean, I love the key because this is what we want. I mean, we want him out, right? This will, another nail in the coffin on the way to him getting out. It's going to create a lot of dissension. People who have supported him will now be thinking twice about supporting him. And I don't just mean the electorate, I mean people in Congress. This will weigh down his presidency and cast real doubt on it. as well as the fact that it is mirrored by the snake. So I mean, listen, I could be wrong. I would say I'm about 85% right in what I read. Uh, but I'm just a person reading cards. I think it's going to be election related and about how the election was manipulated, the outcome was manipulated. And I think it will create real problems. I think he will lose support in the base. I think he will lose support in the Congress. Between that and the whole beating the war drum thing, um, he's in bad shape. Oh, and then I pulled three cards over here, like a postscript, right? Is there anything else I can say about what Anonymous will reveal? So I think it's going to be election related. I think it will speak to the way that you know who helped rig it. Um, and I think it will be a huge stain that I don't think any cleaners will be able to get out for a 47. I think this will be a first sort of death knell. But the final cards, the three cards in the postscript, are the garden, the crossroads, and then the woman. Now, this is the public. This is the electorate. This is people will turn from him. This is Kamala, but I am not going to say that he's going to be taken out in a straitjacket and, when you wake up in the morning, it'll be President Harris. That's not how this works. The election was certified by Congress. I don't know how it works because we've never had this situation happen before. But one way it does not work is that overnight she is reinstated. However, people will turn away from him and see that the other candidate is the one who should have won. And obviously that was Harris. Where we go from there, who knows? Because this is uncharted territory for the country. Oh, I got myself out of breath. That's enough for now, but I'll come on tomorrow if you want to see me. Well, not if you want to see me, if you want to read me, I will be writing Substack, a Substack article. And that's where Substack is the place I go to write about tarot and Lenormand and Adinkra. And I look at the issues of the day. Tarot will inform me as to what I should be talking about. Lenormand tells me what I should say about it. And Adinkra, which is an African oracle, will kind of summarize everything. So it's beautiful the way these cards work together. It's free to read me over there on Substack. So that's where I'll be tomorrow, and I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for all your likes, your shares, your subscribes. Soon we'll be in, I think we have how many days? We have, because it's on my calendar. Uh, 44 days until our 1 year anniversary here. And I love what we've created. I've loved what you've created. And I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming for the new year. But at any rate, you'll see me later in the week. You can read me tomorrow on Substack, and I hope you have a great Tuesday. Take care.